What if you woke up one morning and there was a new room in your house? A room that wasn't there when you went to bed. A room with no door handle, no windows, and no explanation. It sounds like the start of a horror movie, right? But what if I told you that in 2003, this exact scenario reportedly happened in a quiet apartment building in Prague? And according to the sparse records that exist, that room is still there. The building itself was old, but completely ordinary. It was home to 12 families, many of whom had lived there for decades. Life was predictable. Nothing strange had ever been reported, until one morning, a tenant on the third floor noticed something wrong. Something impossible. Between her apartment, 3B, and the main stairwell, where there had always been a solid, blank wall, a door had appeared. No one remembered it being installed. There were no construction permits filed with the city. The building manager swore up and down that the wall had always been solid plaster. At first, the residents tried to rationalize it. Maybe it was an old storage room that had been sealed up ages ago and they'd just forgotten about it. But that didn't explain why it had suddenly reappeared. And it certainly didn't explain the door itself. The door was made of a dark, smooth material that no one could identify. It had no handle, no lock, not even a keyhole. Just a smooth, featureless surface with a single number carved into it. The number 0. It was unsettling. The residents called the city, and when inspectors arrived, they were just as confused. They pulled the original blueprints for the building, and then even older plans from the city archives. None of them showed a room or even a closet in that location. It was supposed to be a solid structural wall. Yet, there it was. The door was undeniably real. They brought in more advanced equipment. Thermal cameras showed a cold spot behind the door, significantly colder than the surrounding walls. Acoustic tests revealed an empty space behind the plaster, a space that, according to all logic and architectural plans, simply should not exist. The officials were stumped. They couldn't break it down without compromising the building's structure, so they decided to just monitor it. That's when things got worse. 3 nights after the door was discovered, residents started hearing noises. Not the usual sounds of an old building settling, not footsteps or voices. It was a low, irregular sound, almost organic. Some described it as being like slow, deep breathing, coming from behind the door of room 0. The building's pets began to act strangely. Cats would hiss at the wall, and dogs refused to go near the 3rd floor landing. One resident reported their dog barked uncontrollably at the door for several minutes before it suddenly yelped and collapsed. The strange phenomena weren't just limited to sounds and animal behavior. A young woman living in apartment 3B, the one right next to the mysterious door, complained to the building manager that she couldn't sleep. She said she was having vivid, recurring nightmares of standing inside the new room, even though she'd obviously never been in it. In our dreams, the room was impossibly vast, far larger than the building itself. She described endless, curving walls with no corners, and she felt a constant, terrifying presence, something standing just out of her line of sight. At first, doctors dismissed her experiences as anxiety brought on by the strange situation. Mas stadia de Icalib Italiano. That explanation held up until 2 other tenants from different floors began reporting the exact same dream. Endless walls, no corners, and a feeling of being watched. Then, on the 7th night after its appearance, the door changed. The number carved into its surface was no longer a 0. It was now a 1. The residents were terrified. They had installed a small security camera in the hallway to monitor the door, but the footage showed nothing. No one approached the door. No one touched it. The number didn't flicker or transform. At one moment in the recording, it was a 0. In the next frame, it was a 1. It just changed. With each passing day, a new number appeared. 2, 3, 4. And with each new number, the breathing sound from behind the door grew louder, more distinct, more hungry. By the time the number reached 4, city officials had seen enough. They sealed off the entire 3rd floor. The building was quietly and quickly evacuated under an official but vague pretense. No media was alerted. No public explanation was ever given. The story was buried. The official record ends there, but the unofficial story continues. Weeks later, an urban explorer, hearing whispers of the Prague anomaly, allegedly broke into the condemned building to see for himself. He wore a head-mounted camera, and the footage he captured was posted online for a few hours before being scrubbed from the internet. His recording shows him navigating the silent, empty building and prying open the barrier to the 3rd floor. He approaches the mysterious door, but in the video, the door is different. It's slightly ajar. He pushes it open. Inside is not a room, it's a corridor. A corridor that stretches into darkness, far longer than the building's dimensions should allow. It's physically impossible. The corridor is lined with identical, featureless doors on both sides, just like the first one. And every single door has a number. The explorer walks down the corridor, his camera panning across the numbers. He whispers them as he reads. 945,208, 331, he realizes, with dawning horror that the numbers aren't random. They match the case file numbers of unsolved missing person reports filed in Prague over the last 50 years. Every door represented a person who had vanished without a trace. The footage ends abruptly. The explorer reaches a door with a number he seems to recognize. He reaches out, his hand trembling, and opens it. The camera just catches a glimpse of what's inside before the feed cuts to static. He was never heard from again. Authorities later surfaced to claim the footage was an elaborate hoax, a fake created for internet fame. But here's the part that keeps me up at night. The apartment building is still standing in Prague. The 3rd floor is still officially sealed off for structural instability. And the 12 families who were but public housing records show no trace of them. They never reappeared in any other registry. It's as if they, too, vanished. As for the room, well, if you dig deep enough into the city archives, you'll find a strange addendum to the building's plans. It states that there's always been something asterisk between apartment 3B and the stairwell. They just can't explain what it is. So, it makes you wonder, did that room really appear overnight? Or had it been there all along, just waiting for someone to finally notice? If you're fascinated by stories where reality bends, official records disappear, and the unknown hides in plain sight, you're in the right place. Make sure you subscribe to Miss Forge and turn on all notifications, because some mysteries refuse to stay buried. Thanks for watching.